Good afternoon, guys. I'm glad all my friends are here. Well, you're supposed to watch the animals there at Yellowstone, see if anything unusual is happening. I don't know if you can classify this as unusual, but officials there at the park have issued a warning that the winter migration of the buffalo has begun. Footage taken by a YouTube user, Broyles Outdoors, from inside a car shows the herd making their way through traffic at the West Entrance Road. They keep coming. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. One of the passengers says, they could do serious damage to our car. In the video that I'll give you a link to, they figured there was over 150 bison. They just kept coming and coming and coming. Definitely want to give them the right of way. Because of this encounter, officials from the Yellowstone National Park Facebook page issued a warning to people that the onset of winter brings with it the movement of bison. Well, why didn't they do that before? Unless because of this encounter, all of a sudden they're getting notification that the bison are leaving, that they now are putting up the warning. Normally, during the winter season, bison head to lower ground in the north area of Yellowstone. The snow and temperature are milder there, and it's easier to feed on grass under the snow. This can mean that hundreds of bison migrate to Lamar Valley, Mammoth Hot Springs, Old Faithful area, and sometimes cross the Yellowstone border into private ranches in Montana. The states work with Yellowstone to keep their herds near the border and direct the livestock to other grazing grounds. You've heard where they've used ATVs and trucks trying to keep them in the park, but that's not always successful. They say that this driving of the buffalo helped the bison have a shorter return to Yellowstone during warmer weather. So do the buffalo know something that people don't know? Forcing the buffalo to stay in the park and eat only grass, which many Yellowstone staffers say is fairly nutrient deficient. They compare it to eating cardboard. On this map right here from USGs, they have 32 earthquakes reported in the last week. The largest being a magnitude 2.3, 13 kilometers in depth. That was on the 28th of this month, or last month actually. Yeah, today is the first day of November. And using Google Earth, here's the location of that earthquake. There was a 1.6 also right close to it on the 28th. And that is not far from the Fern Lake area, the Sour Creek Resurgent Dome. And over here is the Sunlight Volcano. That's an ancient volcano that erupted. Here's an image of that basin. The dotted red lines are fault systems that run through it. This is part of the Absaroka volcanic field. It produced andesite and basalt lavas. Andesite is what the La Palma volcano there in the Canary Island is currently producing. And that's lava, magma, that comes up from the mantle of the earth. So it's interesting that this 2.4 earthquake is, or 2.3, excuse me, is close to this location. As you all know, USGS doesn't report all the earthquakes that actually occurred there at the park. Here at 1834, when I just pulled the files, is the most recent earthquake. The one here is Maple Creek, and this is Yellowstone Lake, and I'll show you the signature of those earthquakes. Right there, and right there. Most recently marked in red, which means the computers picked up the earthquakes, is at 6:38 Universal Time. This monitor right here is borehole 207. This one here is Maple Creek. That's not a borehole. This is the monitor for Yellowstone Lake. And then over here, we have the monitor for Lake Butte. Most significant signature comes from the borehole, which is a very deep well under the ground. Oh, yeah, probably 500-600 feet under the ground with a cap of cement so it does not pick up any outside noise. Look at the spectrogram at these right here. Yeah, that's really red. The deeper the color, the more activity. Yeah, Maple Creek has been showing a lot of activity. Well, let's look at the signature. It's got a very small P wave on it. The P wave is the first wave of the earthquake because it passes through the earth. The second wave is called the S wave, which would be about right there. And that goes around the outside edge of the earth, and thus the name S wave, surface. So we have this earthquake on 4 monitors. USGS is not reporting it. There's actually 2 of them. Again, this is the borehole for Yellowstone Lake. And that comes in as a magnitude 2.0. I'll bring it down to show you. And many of you who've been following what's going on at Yellowstone know that originally, many years ago, they said that when they started to have earthquakes of a magnitude 2, on a regular basis, which is happening now, they would be greatly concerned. Alright, so there is the magnitude 2.0. The next one, right there, that one comes in as a 2.12. I'll pull it up for you so you can see it. Okay, 2.10. I'll bring it back down so you can see it down here at the bottom. MD 2.12. And we'll look at the spectrogram for that earthquake. Let me bring it back up for you. And we'll go to the spectrogram for that one. Now there's another one marked in red over here. And let's look at its signature. Let's make that bigger. Right there. And that one is small, but it actually isn't. It's got a longer P wave. It goes from there to probably about there. So it was farther away, but it still comes in larger. That one comes in as, let me pull it down, a 2.20. And we'll bring it back up and I'll show you the spectrogram. Let's look at the other monitors. Alright, so here we have Maple Creek, Yellowstone Lake. Yeah, it's got to be quite a ways, and it doesn't really even show up for Lake Butte, but look at the line of melt there at Lake Butte. Remember, not all rock melts at the same temperature. And I'll pull it up so you can see it. Yeah, my screen, my work area is smaller this time than what I usually use. And let's check out the spectrogram. 3 lines of melt there. And look at the line of melt there at Yellowstone Lake. Wow. I want to look at Lake Butte. I did not pull Little West Thumb. I only pulled 4 monitors. And you can see the blobs. Oh my goodness. The blobs of magma and the heat at Lake Butte. I believe I talked about this in my last video. Lake Butte is over here. They got that crack that's very deep with high temperatures coming up. This is an area that's got a rhyolite cap, and rhyolite is one of the most explosive type of lavas that you can have, full of gases. It would be like taking a soda can, shaking it up, or a bottle, shaking it up, and opening the lid, and kaboom, right? A big mess everywhere. So we got a definite increase in temperature there that's showing up at Lake Butte. And this is what it was showing when I pulled the files. Let me close. Well, we got a small earthquake there. We'll look at its signature. Yeah, it lasted quite a while. Look at that. Not very big P wave. What time is that? You can't see it. Sorry. Okay. 5:04, not being reported. And we got volcanic tremors. These are volcanic tremors. Let me pull it over. And we'll go to the spectrogram. There you go. That comes in as a magnitude 3.11. Let me bring it down and I'll show you. See that? MD 3.11. It's been 7 days, 12 hours since Steamboat Geyser went off. I did a report about that in my last video that I did about Yellowstone. That erupted on October 25th. A current view of Old Faithful steaming away. Yep, and this is the area where the buffalo are supposed to go. And yeah, I've seen very few buffalo. Yeah. So anyways, that's all I have for you right now. Renewed activity. The buffalo are leaving. And why are they leaving? And normally they try to keep them there in the park. Got to bring in those dollars. People want to see the buffalo. So what are your thoughts? Please put those comments down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay safe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.